the shops. If you are able-bodied and don't have any disabilities or any impediment, maybe the most difficult thing for you is, I guess, sticking to your budget or getting something for the price you need, or getting it delivered if you need to, whatever that might be. But for some people who are living with a disability, or perhaps acquiring disabilities as they age, finding what they need and the technology that they need to let them live a life as full as they would like it to be, well, that can be difficult. But that might be a little bit easier, or at least there is some help at hand this week, because there is an expo. It's going ahead, and it's with assistive technology, and it's free. And it's for people to go along and look at what is out there that might make their life a little bit easier, perhaps. We're going to tell you all about that very soon on Drive. But on the text line, Stephen says, I'm in the car, so I'm unable to do any of those searching on the internet, but surely there must be something from the movie Happy Feet that qualifies. A song about hands at all, feet. Surely, Stephen, surely. That song, I hope yours do too, wherever you're listening to me right now on ABC Radio Canberra. 21 degrees. Remember, it's going to be a bit wet for the rest of the week, as we just heard from the Bureau of Meteorology. If you want to find out a little bit more, remember ABC has some great weather information too up on our website. And if there is severe weather, or if there are warnings, we will always let you know. But the main message, of course, is to keep listening to ABC Radio, particularly when there is severe weather about. In a moment, though, we're going to have a chat about what it's like to live with a disability, but also for those people living with a disability, or those people that rely on assistive technology, what assistance there is out there for you, or what's around to help you find out the different things that are available. And we'll be doing that in just a moment on ABC Radio Canberra. If you've got a story to tell, though, about that, you can always send me a text message on 0467 922 666.
The ABC Canberra Gives appeal supports the fantastic work of Lifeline Canberra.
This invaluable work that we do relies on donations from people like you.
On Tuesday, December 7, tune in as we dig deep to raise money for Lifeline's life-saving support services and shine a light on mental health.
So no matter where you are these holidays,
Please give generously.
Lifeline is here for you.
For details on how you can be part of this year's appeal or to donate, visit abc.net.au/Canberra Gives.
If you're somebody who is able-bodied, if you have no disabilities to speak of, buying what you need to live your life the way you want to live it to the fullest may be relatively simple, except perhaps budgets might be difficult, or maybe trying to get what you need might be hard. But spare a thought for those people who live with disability on a daily basis, and those who rely on technology to assist them in their lives to do things that you or I might take for granted. There is an independent living expo around assistive technology, and it begins tomorrow at Exhibition Park, and it's a free event. It's Australia's largest public exhibition of assistive technology. Joining us to talk a little bit about what it's all about is Chris Sparks. He's a Paralympian, former Paralympian, chairman of the Physical Disability Council New South Wales. He's also somebody who is an unofficial ambassador for living on the South Coast and all the joy that that brings. Hello, Chris.
G'day, Georgia, and how good is it to have events returning to Canberra?
How good is it? Can you just explain for people what assistive technology is, what we're referring to in this space?
Look, I can give you the long, boring, drawn-out international definition, but in essence it means any device that helps people who have some form of disability or limitation to engage more fully, live more fully. So I'm a wheelchair user. Believe it or not, I use a chair when I have a shower, so my shower chair is assistive technology. My cushion is, the hand controls in my motor car, devices such as pool lifters. There's even, at the ATSA Expo, the good folk at Magic Mobility have got an off-road four-wheel drive electric wheelchair that you can go and check out. So, I mean, it's a very broad range of products.
You're someone who's lived in a wheelchair or had a wheelchair since a young age. How has, I guess, the technology changed for you over the decades?
Oh, mate, it's been life-changing and incredibly liberating. So I was injured at 3 years old in 1963, and my first wheelchair weighed 28 kilos. It was one size fits all, and I was a toddler. That probably explains why I've got these giant long arms now as an adult. But My current wheelchair that's on order weighs less than 4 kilograms. It just makes life so much easier. And the range of devices, motor vehicle modifications, really cool things to use in and around your home, stuff that will help older Australians live at home independently and safely for years and years longer. And this is the one real opportunity to see it all under one roof.
So who are ATSA who's organising it?
Well, I was the executive officer of ATSA for some 9 years, and it's really an organisation to represent the wide range of suppliers of assistive tech, and they range from little mom and dad companies who may service a small area through to multinationals, through to not-for-profits, and many of them are represented in Canberra, people like Spinal Cord Injuries Australia, who have a brilliant accessible gymnasium in Canberra. They're going to be at the event. So it's really those organisations and businesses come together to try and improve the quality of assistive technology supply and get better and smarter government policy.
You mentioned before about the multinational companies, but what about local? Like, how big is the local field?
Well, the multinationals tend to be the large developers, manufacturers and importers. Then they need a range of highly trained and often very highly skilled experts to be their feet on the ground, to go out and get hands-on with people with disability and seniors, to match the right suite of products to their own individual circumstance. And so there's thousands of Australians working in this area, many of whom are people with disabilities themselves. I mean, I worked in the assistive technology game for the best part of 20 years, and I've been a wheelchair user since the age of 3.
But you're very passionate about, you're still doing work, that's outside paid work in this field. Why are you still sort of at the forefront of it?
Georgia, I spoke to a business that I used to work for today. They had a little company Zoom call, and I get really passionate about this stuff because every time the assistive technology industry gets something right, someone's life gets better. They get more independence, greater dignity, they're safer, they're often medically protected from things such as pressure injuries and the like. It's a great industry when it's done really well, and that's what I care about, is helping people to be as good at it as they can be and giving great outcomes to people, mate. It's genuinely life-changing stuff, and I've got 60 years of living it.
What is the biggest barrier, in your opinion, to people getting the right technology or the right assistance for them?
Knowledge and expertise, first of all. You only know what you know, and I'm blessed to have been in a game where I've learnt so much about what's available. I only found out 6 months ago that there's an engineer in Victoria who will modify a Ford Ranger with a drop-down driver's seat for me so I can get back into four-wheel driving because my shoulders aren't good enough to help me clamber back up there anymore. So that lack of knowledge is a real inhibitor. Cost is obviously an issue, but for people with disability, the NDIS has gone a long way to helping to overcome that. But a lot of the stuff that helps particularly seniors is readily available off the shelf. It's not expensive. It's just a matter of getting the right product match to your individual needs.
I know there was some criticism early on about the NDIS, and I know that for each person it's different depending on what their needs are.
Yep.
But some people thought the NDIS wasn't allowing them to buy the stuff that they needed. Do you think the NDIS has delivered for many people?
Look, my own experience now 5 years has been very good. If you do your homework and, importantly, get the right advice and documentation, I just had my plan reviewed. I'm coming up for a new wheelchair and significant motor vehicle mods to get me back into four-wheel driving, and I had no issues whatsoever. I have, on other occasions, had stumbling blocks, and, good Lord, you show me one government system that isn't perfect. But they're making some major changes and continue to evolve, which is designed to take the bureaucracy out of the whole approval process, and let people be freer with their choices.
But they've got to be able to advocate on behalf of themselves, don't they, like you can, or have someone who can do it for them?
Yep, and look, there's a lot of assistance out there for that. In fact, there's a great tool that I only discovered, again, 6 weeks ago, called the Disability Advocacy Finder. Just have a web search for that, and, you can find an organisation close by who can give you assistance if you feel that you don't have the ability to do it on your own.
This expo that starts tomorrow and it goes for a couple of days and it's free, who do you think should be heading along?
Mate, seriously, any person with disability or a parent of a kid with a disability, seniors who want to stay at home longer. And I mean, it's not just a matter of, gee, there's a whole lot of product there. You've got some of the absolute top people within Australia, and some would say the world, who are there for free to talk to you. There's a tremendous seminar program. We've got the Director of Assistive Technology for the NDIS speaking at that, and that's all free. And if you pre-register, we'll even shout you a cup of coffee.
So this is another thing too, when we think about this, obviously not everyone, but some of these people would be quite vulnerable. I mean, how important was it to make sure it was safe for this to go ahead and have COVID protocols in place?
Look, this is our third expo this year, believe it or not. We ran a major one in Melbourne between lockdowns, and we had full COVID practice there. We also conducted one in Perth. We've been really fortunate with our timing, and we didn't know if this was going to go ahead until 6 weeks ago. But Canberrans, with their high rates of vaccination, all of the exhibitors are vaccinated. That's part of ATSA policy. It's also part of working with people with disability. So we've got a lot of confidence that we can get this right, and citizens of Canberra can turn up, enjoy the exhibition, and be very safe.
Is there anything in particular you're looking forward to in regards to it?
Mate, there's some of the amazing things you meet. Like today, I met a company called Polyspine, and this is so typical. So it's a dad who's a construction worker who's got a cerebral palsy kid, and he needed an exoskeleton so that he could provide his child with the sort of support to do stuff outside his wheelchair, such as go riding in a kayak and stuff. So he teamed up with a biomedical person, and they've developed the Polyspine. It's a great new Australian product. It's probably got real international market potential. So you find these amazing little businesses and developments. I'm obviously a bit of a tech head, so I like looking at all the motor vehicle modifications, the latest, greatest lightweight wheelchairs, and we all have our different interests. There's one really cool company there called Paramobility. And Paramobility specialise in really creative solutions to get people in and out of pools. Or they did a kayak lift for a mate of mine, to enable him to safely get down into his kayak. There's some really great innovations there, and also to the service providers like Hire Up that help you find NDIS support workers, and so many more. Vision Australia's there, Council of the Aging's there. I think there's close to 60 exhibitors this year.
Why do you think it's so important, though, that there are all these things that modify it? So say, like what you're talking about, being able to four-wheel drive again, or your mate being able to kayak. Why is that such an important thing for you?
Oh, mate, it's absolutely critical. And for me too, ageing with disability, I'm looking for ways to stay active longer. I don't want to stop camping and kayaking. Yet it's getting harder. But basically through the technology, it's liberating me to give me that extra 10 years of activity that I frankly wouldn't be able to have otherwise. And I mean, who wouldn't want that,
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. You want people to register, though, don't you, for the expo?
Look, it just saves any queuing, which is a good thing for COVID safety. So if they just Google ATSA Expo, it's a free process to pre-register, and that'll give you your free coffee voucher as well. So, check it out.
Hey, Chris, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks again, Georgia.
Thank you. That's Chris Sparks. He's a former Paralympian, wheelchair basketballer, chairman of Physical Disability Council New South Wales, talking there about the expo, as well as for people with disabilities, both young and old. There are a number of organisations there as well, and you can see those organisations by going on the website and having a look. If you have trouble and you need us to just point you in the right direction, if you didn't get all those details, you can always give us a call on 1300 681 666 or text 0467 922 666. We still have, more than half an hour left, which means we'll be joined by Ken Lampel to